Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of asynchronous art videos. So this week, we're going to create a psychedelic vase inspired by the artist Johann Miro. That is our objective, and we will reach our success criteria when we can create those vases using symmetry that we learned from last week and value. But first, let me show you a little bit about the artist. Let me show you some of his work, Mr. Johann Miro. So I'm just going to share my screen with you all. And so here is some of his vases. And if you can look at them, you can see that this side of his vase matches the other side of his vase. And that is what symmetry is. When if you cut right down the middle, one side matches the other side, right? So here's another one. Let me just put on my little red thing here, my little laser pointer. So if you go down this side of the vase, you see that curvy line, right, of the vase, and it matches the other side, the curvy line of the vase. Looks a little different, but same concept. He has symmetry in all of his vases. They're all symmetrical. So you can see this one, down this line is a curvy line, and then it matches this side on the other side going up. And the other one matches as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and that's some of his work, some of his vessels, right? And so now we can create our work. So let's do that. So we're going to start with our, I'm going to start with my Sharpie. You're going to start with your pencil, right? So I'm going to start by drawing my psychedelic vase, that curved line, right? So here's the curved line we're going to start with. Like we can start, you can draw any kind of line you want to, but just to make sure that we're doing symmetry, right? Let's start by folding our paper in half, right? Because one side of our vase has to match the other side of our vase. I'm just going to fold it in half and then open it right back up. And you should fold yours in half, make sure all the corners touch, and open it right back up, right? So now we have that fold right down the middle of our paper. Now I can begin to draw my swirly line, curvy line. You can draw whatever kind of line you want, as long as it goes from top to bottom. So I'm just going to draw like a curvy type of line, just like that. Right? So now I'm going to draw like a little curve on the bottom for the bottom of my vase. I'm going to draw that curved line just like that. Right? And so I'm going to try to draw that same line on the other side. But if you cannot draw that line, you can always close your paper, right? Fold it right back up, and you'll be able to see that line that you just drew. So you can trace right over that same line. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to trace right over that same line. My marker is dying, so let me get a good marker. Let's try this one. But it'll work. So now I'm going to open it up, and what you see is a reflection. Like you see that mark that we made, you can see it on the reverse side. Okay, so I'm just going to draw that same line on the other side. And now we have what looks like an entire vase. Let me just go back over this with my other marker. Okay, great. So now we have an entire vase, and I'm going to put the lip on my vase. Now the lip is the opening of the vase at the top. So I'm going to do another curved line right here. I'm going to draw another curved line going the opposite direction. And that is the opening of my vase. So now we're going to get to the part where we start to play around with value. Now, value is how light or how dark an object is. And so when you're making it darker, you're creating a shade. And when you're making the value lighter, you're creating a tint. So we're going to create a tint today. We're going to go from one color to the next, but before we start coloring, we have to draw our psychedelic curved lines to make our vase look kind of like 70s-ish or something like that. So I'm going to draw any curved line going from left to right on my vase, right? So I'm going to do like maybe a little dip of a line, something like that. Now I'm going to match that line. I'm going to do the same line. I'm just going to leave a space. I'm going to make it parallel to my first one. So I'm going to match that same line all the way up to the top of my vase. Now I'm not going to go all the way to the inside of my vase. I'm just going to do the outside of my vase. And I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom part of my vase. I'm just going to follow that same curved line, right? And so that is the bottom of my vase. Now we could begin to create our value, our tints, right? So I'm going to use 2 different colors, and you can pick your own 2 colors. Make sure you pick your own 2 colors. You don't have to copy my colors. So my color is violet red and blue, right? So I'm going to use those 2 colors. It's like a blue green. I'm going to start with my blue green at the bottom, and I'm going to press really, really hard because this is going to be the dark side of my psychedelic vase. I'm going to press really, really hard when I color. And then as I go across, I'm going to get lighter and lighter. I'm going to create that tint. So here's my vase, is really dark, right? I'm pressing really hard on my paper right now with the crayon. And then I'm going to press a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter. And it's like barely touching the paper, right? So it creates like this sort of value, this tint of blue, right? This strip of tint of blue, right? So you see that? And now I'm going to switch, I'm going to alternate between my 2 colors. I'm going to switch between my my red and my blue, sorry. So I'm going to start with my red again, and it's going to be really, really dark, right? I'm going to start really, really dark on this side, right? So here's my red, starting really, really dark. It almost looks pink. That is so cool. I like this color. All right, so I'm going to start really, really dark. Then I'm going to go I'm going to press a little bit lighter on the table. And as I go across my strip, I'm going to press a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter. Now, you can pause the video whenever you feel like you need time to create, right? You need that time. Take your time and create that value, that tint, okay? So you can pause whenever you think that you need more time, right? So there's my second one, right? And you see how it goes from dark to a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter as we go across. So I'm going to alternate, I'm going to switch. Now I'm going to do my blue. My blue is going to be really, really dark, right? And then it's going to go really, really light. It's going to get lighter and lighter as I cross across this strip. I'm going to take my crayon a little bit more off the page. And so if you need to go back and like color again, that's okay. You can go back and color again just to make sure that you have the colors that you want, right? Just to blend it a little bit more. I'm gonna do this down here too. I'm gonna go to my pink again, which is really red. This is violet red. I'm pressing really, really hard, and then I'm gonna press really, really light. Like I'm gonna gradually get lighter, little bit, get a little bit lighter as I go across this strip of curved line I have. And so, oops, I almost colored it. I almost colored it pink. I almost did. So watch what you're doing, right? Pay attention. You don't want to end up like Miss Smith and almost color 2 of your lines the same color. So we want different colors on each line, right? And then you get lighter and lighter as you go across, creating that value, that tint of blue. And so if you stop and you look at your artwork and you see that like some areas are darker than others and you want to go back, you are definitely more than welcome to go back and color those parts in. So I'm going back. You kind of have to finesse it a little bit. Like you have to go back and, you know, recolor it, reorganize. I'm gonna do this one too. Just a little bit darker. And it gradually gets lighter. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back and do my pink again. It's going to gradually get lighter and lighter until it's barely there. Right? You barely see it. And then here's my blue. You barely see the blue. And then here's another pink on this side. You barely see the pink. Okay. So now you have that like curved line. It's almost creating that 70s kind of psychedelic kind of blue and stripes going on here. All right, so now that we have our vase, we're going to leave the inside of our vase white, and we're going to begin to color in our background, right? So we're going to draw a horizon line because now our vase is done, but it looks like it's hanging in the air, right? So we want to put it on the ground. So I'm just going to draw a line from one side of my vase, a horizontal line, all the way to the edge of my paper. Right? I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of my paper. I'm going to follow that line. And then I'm going to draw it on the other side. I'm going to start from here and just come straight over there. All right, so now it looks like we have our vase on a table or on the ground, right? And now we can begin to color our background. So you can color your background any color you want. I don't think I need to color that for you. I want you to color it yourself, but make sure you color the table or the ground that your vase is on, and also color in the background or create a pattern in the background, okay? So I'm gonna leave that totally up to you. You are the artist, your discretion is up to you. And I hope you had a wonderful day creating our psychedelic vase inspired by Mr. Johan Miro. And have a wonderful day. We have successfully created our vase, right? Our composition. So have a wonderful day. And remember to post your picture when you're done coloring, post it to Google Classroom or to Class Dojo, okay? Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.